All right, Chris Gotti.
Yes, sir.
Man, glad to have you here.
Cam, I'm happy to be here.
Man, that's what's up, man. Well, I just thought we'd kind of just get into your whole story and go back all the way back, man. I don't think people know how much you were involved in Murder Inc., but, I definitely want to get into that. Because, Irv was always
He's the front.
the guy doing the interviews and
Shout out Irv Gotti.
Shout out Irv Gotti, you know what I'm saying? The one we always seen. But let's kind of take it back a little bit, Can you kind of tell everybody what it was like for you growing up? And, where you grew up
Yeah,
at?
sure. Irv, me and Irv, that's my little bro. It's 8 of us in the family, so you got to know that part. Irv was the youngest of 8. I'm number 7, and then I got 5 sisters, and I got another brother. So it's 8 of us. And Irv, being the younger brother, basically, whatever I did, he did it. If I played football, he played football. If I played basketball, he played basketball. If I start DJing, he started DJing. And that's how really everything got started. I got the equipment, started DJing, and then with music, he started doing it, but he's doing it while I'm not home. Because I didn't want people to hear the music and maybe break in the house and get the equipment or something, you know what I mean? And I would tell him, don't be there doing it unless I'm there. Don't be on my equipment unless I'm there. And he started doing it without me, but he got really, really good. And when I seen him that one day, like that day is like yesterday, I just was with Baby Jermaine. Shout out Baby J. He ain't a baby no more. But that was one of Earth's prodigies as a DJ. And I remember walking up that driveway, and I see Jay, and I'm like, where you going? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, right away, because he knew the rules, like you can't be on my equipment while I'm not there. He's like, don't be mad. Don't be mad. I said, what you doing? He said, Irv's in there. He's really good though. He's really good. I ripped the garage open because I had it outside in the garage. And so that's why I was like, if people here sitting out there, they'll go break in the garage and take everything. What are you doing? He had a bunch of his boys in there, and everyone just stopped. And I said, let me see what you do. Like, let me see. He started doing every trick you could imagine as a DJ. He spin around handcuffs, cutting with his elbows back and forth. I mean, and just incredible. And I was like, all right, we'll keep the music down. And I never DJ'd no more after that. I just started setting him up with different DJ battles and stuff like that. We used to do that. And then he had a little rap group, Romeo and Rozelle. Rozelle, Godfather Noise. Shout out Rozelle, you know what I'm saying? Beatbox, best beatbox. Romeo was the rapper, best rapper. And Irv, best DJ. And we went out battling everybody in all types of contests, trying to get a deal. Win them and never get a deal. Marley Marl, you owe us a deal, bro. I'm still coming to collect. DJ Marley Marl, shout out Marley Marl, you know what I'm saying? One of the finest from out of Queens. And we won the deal. We was at the USA skating ring, and it was a competition for artists and everything, and we win. And we never got the deal though, but we won.
You remember what year this was?
Oh, we're in the, I'm gonna say this is early 80s, late 80s, like 89, 80, yeah, it's probably like 89, 88, 89, in that time frame. We've been grinding for a long time. We're in 2025. We was, it took us, even to get to that point, it took us to get our first deal, let's call it, which was with Blunt Records, which came in 94. You're talking about solid 9 years of grinding, maybe 10 years of grinding before even getting anything. We're from Hollis, Queens, so we was dealing with Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, shout out Jay, man, another one. So we was around it, LL, we was around it, but we wasn't, in it, if you understand. But it's part of the reason that made us feel like we could do it, because it was the neighborhood guys that's doing it. Dudes right up the block from you was the biggest rap group in the world. So that was the inspiration to just keep pushing. And my part was really to empower my brother, who I seen with a different skill set and a different talent than what I have, you know. And that's all I did. I wanted to just make Irv become Irv Gotti. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's all I wanted to do. We never fought. We got in a maybe in my lifetime with him, and we probably had arguments, like serious arguments, maybe 3 times. But I never put my hands. You know how bigger brothers do that. I never did. Me and Irv, I never did that. That was never even a thought for me. I just wanted to help him. You know what I'm saying? Make sure he didn't do what I did. If I was doing bad shit, I didn't want him to do bad shit. So that was the main reason, like, make sure he was good. I was his big bro. I took care of him. I'm my brother's keeper. When you asked me my role, really, that was part of one of my roles.
Just to look over Herb, just to look out for Herb.
Oh yeah. So as you'll hear as the story goes on, as we get more and more successful, everybody wanted a piece of Irv. They wanted to be part. Help me, do this for me, do that for me. I had to be the guy to say no, and keep him away, to keep Irv really laser tunnel vision focused on what he was trying to get done. You can't, if everyone's pulling at you, you can't get it done. You can't. I'm a big believer in focus. You can't get it done with everyone pulling at you and asking you to do what they need you to do for them, not what you're doing for yourself. And I was able to do that for him. One of the things, again, when you ask what did I do, I'm the co-founder of Murder Inc. Murder Inc. started not because Irv said I want to have a rap label. He didn't do that, or start my own record label. He didn't say that. Irv wanted to be the biggest producer in the game, and I made him the biggest producer in the game, which led to Tommy Mottola saying, I'll give you guys a record label. Then we had to figure out a name, the whole thing, and that's the actual reason that we had a record label. If Tommy doesn't do that, who knows when Irv is going to say, man, we should have a record label. And my job was really to just make sure Irv was getting what he needed. So at the end of the day, I ran the business, and I basically took care of my brother so no one could bother or interfere with what he's doing.
Okay, now you said it took you guys 10 years of grinding. Like, what all were you guys doing during that 10 years? Was it just, like, were you looking for artists? Did you already have Ja Rule?
Mm-mm.
Like, you know, was he DJing a lot, producing? Or, you know, what all you guys doing?
We had our own little group. We was DJing a lot. We in the studio. And back then, studio was expensive. It wasn't no cheap thing to get to the studio to buy the 2-inch reels and then have an engineer and the studio costs. I mean, it was a real number. It's not like today where it's free, damn near. You could do it for nothing with a computer and you good. You could make a record. No, it wasn't that. So, and we was making records and then submitting deals like to different people we knew in the industry to try and get it in, and then doing shows, all types of showcases, talent searches, the same grind as every artist I see today in it, pretty much. We did all of those things.
But you guys met guys early on, right? Like, because I think I seen, you know, where they said Irv Gotti first met Jay-Z in London. I think late 80s, maybe, early 90s.
This is, I'm bad with timelines, man. This is before we have anything. This is when Irv is just DJing. He was DJing for Jaz-O. Jay-Z and Jaz-O was like that at the time. And Irv, they go to London, and Jaz-O, when they get out there, he's the star, basically. So Irv is underneath Jazz. So if you understand, when you're on tour, he was with EMI. He had a deal with EMI, and they go out there. Irv ended up getting another DJ for him, and he would still help Jazz, and he was still out there, but he had another DJ named Teron actually on set doing it. So now Teron, who's from the neighborhood, another kid from the neighborhood, and Teron's DJing with Jaz-O, and then Jay-Z and Irv meet while they're out there, and because they're not the star, they probably got closer. That's why, you know, if you're on the road and the star is over there and doing everything, you're here with the rest of the crew that can't do everything. And that's Jay-Z and Irv, and they got to build in their relationship in London. That's where they met, in London, and it just, the rest is history from there. Like, it just grew just from that. And then Jay-Z seen Irv's talent. Irv started talking to Jay about making records, how to do his shows, and just business ideas, and it cultivated from there.
Okay, and at what point do you guys meet Ja Rule?
Ja Rule's back home. We get a guy named Mike Geronimo record deal. That was our first deal with TVT. I'm gonna say 94. It might be earlier. It might be 92 actually. And that was our first deal. And we're super excited. We get with Mike, have a lot of success, and then we sign a rap group, Cash Money Click. Irv signed Cash Money Click to TVT Records. Blunt was the name of the label, Blunt Records, on TVT. So Blunt Records, he signs. And inside that group is Cash Money Click, was Ja Rule, a guy named Chris Black, and O1. And that was the group. And they was CMC, Cash Money Click. That was the name of their group. And, you know, when you heard Ja rap and you heard this big voice, you're like, what the, you know? And I remember when I first heard her, we playing, I'm like, yo, who's that? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I was like, he's fire. Like, and then we was talking about, he's in a group, but we need to figure out how to make him solo. Because that became the next. Chris Black, who brought us the group, he brought Irv the group. Cash Money Click, who's inside of the group. He's our friend, but we didn't know John, we didn't know O. We've met them through the group. We knew Chris Black. He was up the block from us, so we knew who he was. And we got him going. And Chris Black, we didn't think was a rapper, but he had a lot of personality. If you understand, he could say words with a lot of personality and vibe. You know, there's artists out here like that, you know, that I feel they're not real true spitters, but they have so much characteristics and charisma with their style and the way they deliver their words. They rappers, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, and that's Chris Black. But when we got it again, we heard John. It was like, man, this dude's different.
Okay, now, was your intentions to always sign rappers, or, you know, because Irv is just producing? So
no, me personally was never. I keep it 100. This is all Irv. When I speak, as far as him finding job, that's all Irv. He was on a different grind. I was out on a different grind, getting money to keep supplying him with funds so he could keep doing what he's doing. So he would always bring it back to me. And I started out management. We wasn't making money. And I had to go do different things to get money, if you understand. Like, so end of the day, I started a big construction company, did really well. And I was financing my brother. Just, he needs equipment, he needs different things. I help him get it, buy it for him. You know, if he had to go somewhere, give him money to travel, the whole thing, just so he didn't have to have a job. Just so he didn't have a technical 9 to 5, he could do it. But then he started getting money, and then he calls me up and says, I need you back with me, because the business side, any creative probably needs the person to run their business, in my opinion. Any creative, I don't care who you are. It's very challenging to do both. Be the visionary, the creator of all of this music, the sound, the way you want to market things, and then go back and do all of the business to make sure it's all done right. And he called me and said, I need you to come back. And I said, man, okay. He had a production company called Top Dog Productions, right? And I ran Top Dog Productions. And when I get there, he was charging $5,000 a track, selling beats for $5,000 a track. In less than 2 years, I had it over $250,000 a track. So that's what I did for him. And what else did I do? I found the producers to help him produce the music to get us to that number. There was a guy named Little Rob shout out Little Rob, you know what I'm saying? There was a producer there. Little Rob was dope. He just didn't make a lot of beats. So if he made 4 beats, I got rid of 3. Great ratio. But the problem is at 5,000, it's 15 racks. It's not enough money for me, like, to stop what I'm doing Like, and I'm telling, so I went back to Irv and I said, we got a problem. He said, what's going on? I said, I'm moving all the beats that we get. Little Rob's giving me beats. He just don't make a lot. Even if I'm getting 20%, we talking about what, $6 grand? That's nothing. Like, and I'm waiting to get to make more money. It's like, that's not going to cut it. You know, and then I told Irv that day, I said, I want to bring in more producers. He looked at me and said, I don't care what you do. I'm not taking less than 5,000 a track. I said, I started laughing. I said, I already know, that's no problem. But I need more inventory. It's just business, supply and demand. We had no supply. We in demand. People was starting to know Irv and want to fuck with his beats. So we got a little demand there, but I got no supply. So I started signing producers. And we went from 5,000 to 15 to 25 to 50 to 100 to 150 to 250 in less than 2 years. In less than 6 months, I had him at $100,000 a track. It took me another like 8 to 10 months to get it to 250. But we got to 100 real quick. And Irv was going crazy. So he was loving it. But Irv just wanted to be the best producer in the game. He's a Dr. Dre fan. He loved Dr. Dre. He thought he thinks he's the best producer in the game, period, in hip hop. So when he always was like, man, I gotta get to that level, you know. And, you know, Irv and Dre, when they met, it was like amazing because that was like for me, knowing how much Irv wanted to be as good as and to hear Dr. Dre say how dope he is and amazing work and Irv giving him all the credits. It was just, I wish it was today because I'd have had it on video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Dre made us come out to Up in Smoke tour. And that's when they really first got to face talk and really vibe with each other. So whatever year that is, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, you know, is there any like hits or big popular songs that you guys produced or that he produced that we might not know about?
I'm so bad. Yo, Cam, I promise you, I'm so bad with titles. But we have records that were hits with what's the pop group? We had a pop group. Oh, I'll give you one. Vanessa Carlton.
Okay.
You know, she's huge. And, you know, Irv got records that he did that went #1 with Vanessa Carlton.
Okay.
That's something that no one would think of. Vanessa Carlton and Irv Gotti. She's a complete package. That's making my way downtown. That's Vanessa Carlton.
Right,
you know,
okay.
that's that movie White Girls made that record go crazy because that was the main record in that movie. But Irv made her whole album. She was actually Murder Inc. artist signed to Murder Inc. People don't know that because
During the time of that song?
after that song.
Right after that song.
So what happened was Irv loved that song and he went and got her signed to Murder Inc. But they didn't want to, again, the powers that be, we was dealing with issues with the government and everything in the feds. She still didn't care. She was cool with us and she wanted to come in. And basically Irv negotiated with her label. I'm trying to remember who right now. It slipped my mind. It was, again, it's in the system, but it wasn't on Universal. And her deal was up, and we ended up negotiating to get her to come to Murder Inc. But we didn't put the Murder Inc. imprint on her product, on the album. We left it alone because we didn't want any negativity to come over from us to her in her career.
Oh, okay.
Again, more secrets that people don't know. That's someone I never told that story. But that's 100% true. Like, she was a Murder Inc. artist for her second album. Irv knew every word to her song and he produced. Again, it's just a great thing because it showed his versatility as a producer. You know, we got R&B artists again, you know, of course, you know, Jennifer Lopez, but like Mary J. Blige and different other people we made records for that was big records for them.
What about DMX? How did you guys come across DMX?
Another great story. Irv found DMX through a guy named Chad Elliott, if I'm not mistaken, a producer named Chad Elliott. And he tells Irv about this artist Dark Man X. Now, it's different in the beginning. Everything changes after time, right? So Dark Man X, and he says, yo, he's super dope. He just, he's got these things and he's hard to deal with. And he said, maybe you could be able to want to deal with him and get, so you got to shout out Chad Elliott for that, because he's seen something in Irv that connected him with DMX, and Irv goes meets X, and X is rough. He's not an easy guy to deal with at the time, and Irv was able to deal with it no problem. I'll never forget again one of these moments for me personally, Irv coming home, and anytime he did something new, he wants me to hear it. And he played some music, and I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, this shit is hard. And then I'm like, but this shit is dark, right? This is not like the normal rap you're hearing. It's a different pain you're hearing. It's a different, like, he's rapping from a different frequency, and man, it's like, yo, this shit is hard. But I'm like, I asked Irv the question, I was like, is it with it? Like, I with it, but is it gonna work for the masses? And he said, we gonna make it work. And he said, this shit, because Irv it was love at first sight, or first listen when he first heard X. And I used to go see X. I would run down in Harlem, 125th Street, catch him on 125th Street, pick him up. Like, he was doing bad. I'd take him to get something to eat, give him a couple of dollars. Like, yo, so X, we had a definite bond and love for each other from there, me personally, and the respect. And then with Irv, it was even more, because Irv, literally, it'd be like an abandoned building he's picking X up out of. I'll leave it at that. And X would put his head through a cracked window. Irv be outside, blow the horn, and he'd stick his head, oh, come down, Gotti! Like the window's cracked, like broken. He just stick his head through. Now, X was different, man. Again, the day he brought him up to Def Jam, his mouth is wired shut. I know Kanye got the record through the wire, and he made that song, and he's rapping through the, that's how X got his deal. He had rapped to Leo with his mouth wired shut. I know Leo has a story where he says he heard the pins in the metal of the, the thing while he's rapping, because he's rapping like this, and he's doing it with such force and energy. He said he heard the metal popping in his jaw. And he had 2 different boots on. X was living that life for real. And I always talk about D&Y from Rough Riders, because that's their artist. Shout out D&Y. They probably at that moment didn't know how to handle or deal with X. So Irv refined it and got it, let's say, polished enough to do it. And then that's how they came, Those are that's family, so that's really the reality of how that worked. You know what I'm saying?
Did you guys come across Biggie before he blew up?
We knew Biggie. I used to gamble with Biggie. We call him Playboy, but at the end of the day, he was already in a deal. I didn't know him before the deal. I knew him after the deal. Same with Irv. He didn't know him before. Like, he's in a Flavor of the Year. We did the remix, and we had that day was crazy, because I won a lot of money, number one, from playing craps, or CeeLo, sorry, running some CeeLo games in there while we were shooting at that set for that video. But at the end of the day, he was so witty, and I met Pac too, man. It's like, I'm blessed because of Stretch. God bless Stretch. Shout out Stretch. You know what I'm saying? Stretch was another dude from Queens there that he made it up. Before he was on the way, he was one of the top producers going with all of that hip hop stuff, and Pac was rocking with him, and then he ended up, getting killed before.
How many times did you meet Pac? And is there everybody got like a Tupac story?
I was probably with Pac maybe on 2-3 times.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. We definitely went to the Palladium one of those times. We was at the Palladium together. That's when I seen his star power, because I seen girls fainting, passing out. This is the first time I ever seen this from a rapper. You only seen this with Michael Jackson. You don't see this with hip hop. And I'm sitting there like looking, and I'm watching these girls, and they going crazy, shaking and trembling, crying. And I'm like, whoa, he's really real. Like, his star power is really real. Like, it's a difference. You know, people always talk about hip hop and top fives, and I said there's so many different genres of hip hop. No one talks about that, and it's hard to compare one to the other. I always say, but Pac is the most felt. DMX is right on his heels as number 2. The most felt artist ever in hip hop is Tupac, and then DMX right behind him. You know, and as simple as that. People would cry for Pac. The same with X. He would say, I seen grown men cry for X, like, different. It's not even, in my opinion, close for the most felt artists. Like, when they rap, you felt that right here. You know, that's why they got timeless records. And they're not club records. These are timeless records from just the words they're spitting. Different.
Yeah, man, them times were definitely, you know, them Tupac songs, the Dear Mamas,
Tupac used to hang out right on Springfield. That's one of, like, Hollis, Queens, and Springfield. We all together. We right over there with Springfield. So I would catch him over there all the time. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But, you know, got to talk with him, hang out with him. I'd say 3 times. 3 times where we was actually literally physically talking and hanging out together like that. But I'd be in his presence a bunch of times because he'd be over on Springfield. We pull up over there.
What was your thoughts when the whole East Coast, West Coast, and him and Biggie started beefing, and then eventually he takes some shots at Jay?
Well, you know, hip-hop's a blood sport. So at the end of the day, of course, I'm an East Coast guy. I had mad love for the West Coast. I'm here right now in LA with all my homies out here. It's all blood. It's all Crip. It's all essays. It's all of the above for me. I'm not a gang member, right? But at the end of the day, I with them all. And when that happened, it was a real trying time for hip hop people. If you was experienced it, it was a real thing about East, West, West, East. You know, I would say that the West Coast probably had it a more physical approach than the East did towards it. Like, they literally was getting at East Coast dudes if you was out here. Where on the flip side, if you was in the East Coast, it wasn't as on site as it was here. So again, it was sad. For hip hop, it's growing pains. Families fight. I'm gonna leave it at that, right? Because they were very close with each other, Pac and Biggie. Now Biggie thought that Pac thought he was set up. You know. All I say at the end of the day, after the results of where it's in, I said, again, the West really did take Biggie out. Tupac was taken out by the West, not by the East Coast. And that's the reality, the harsh reality of what we're talking about. It's sad and it's up, but again, like I said, the West was on a more volatile approach than the East was.
Now, you mentioned hip-hop being a blood sport, and I think you talked about this a little bit before, but this is something that I didn't really know until I seen the clip of the interview, and you mentioned it, and I went and I listened to the song, and then I could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that Jay and Big were going at each other on Brooklyn's Finest.
Yes, that's a fact. You know, I wish Jay would just speak about it. He's got so much with him, and I understand he's in a different place, different position, because he wouldn't want. But they was like this. It doesn't take nothing away from their relationship. It was, again, we was all together, right? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna use Murder Inc., Rough Riders, Rockefeller, Bad Boy. That was our East Coast gang. That was our family, right? All of that is family. We were running each other's sessions to hear what you making, to play what we got, and then discuss for family release dates. Stay clear, we're coming this day. Don't bring that over here, you're gonna be in trouble. You know, and that was very vital information. The rest of the industry doesn't know that, and we would slaughter the rest of the industry because of our release dates, the timing of it. But that's like it's like insider trading information. We're insider trading. This is that kind of crime or offense. And but so when you say that, like, but if you was on a record with whoever, it was not a friendly thing. I'm gonna kill you is the mindset. You know, and then a lot of times, sometimes the artist might say, "Oh, I got to do my verse over." Oh, then you got it bad. Then, right? They gonna give it to you. Like that's the problem. Like, so when I say that, that's the level of the highest, utmost respect. The way we was doing it, it wasn't it's competitive. Is I'm gonna beat you and be better than you, which is I want every artist. If I have any artist, that's how I want them to feel with whoever they're getting on the track with. If they don't do that, then it's not gonna be the best record. So when you say that Brooklyn's finest, is like they're telling you I'm the finest. No, I'm the finest. And don't tell me you the Brooklyn's best. I'm telling you that, and it's subliminal. So if you don't know, if you're not on the inside, you wouldn't know. If they're not battling, like see when you're not, if you're being disrespectful, it's not subliminal. You're using names, you're calling you out. It's no one that's not gonna know when you're inside of that family situation. It's subliminal, and we know, no one else knows. And again, that's the game.
Can you break down some of the parts so maybe the average fan can understand it? Because like for me, what stuck out is they're just kind of casually trying to top each other.
Yes.
Like like Jay says, you crazy, you think you little bit of rhymes can play me. I'm from Varsity, I'm varsity chump, you JV. Mm-hmm. And Biggie's next first line is, my Bed-Stuy flow is malicious.
Yes.
So it's like,
he's letting you know, I'm not from Marcy, I'm from Stye, homie. Like, you understand? It's like, it's very simple, simplistic stuff. But they know what they're doing. They're wordsmiths. They really know what they're doing. And they're so talented. And I mean, that game is elite, man. That song is elite. That's one of my better songs. Like, I love to talk because that is for that right there.
And you can hear that in like almost every verse.
Yes.
Like Jay says something, Biggie's responding to it.
Because they're going one after another. That's how they made the record. It wasn't like one take and then they have all their verses. No, it's a back and forth song. And they don't write. They don't write. So they're bouncing off what they just heard and responding back. Brooklyn's finest. And they're leaving it up to the audience to say, man, Jay killed it or Big killed it. They leaving it for that. That's it.
Damn, that's crazy, man. I for sure didn't see that. That's dope, man. Were you around for that or?
I wasn't in the studio. Irv was there with them, and Irv, I got again all this information because, no one likes to tell everything. Everyone wants it to be like, everything ain't to be told, and I keep that as best I can for most of the things. I don't really talk about it, but there was words between the artists about it with Irv for sure. So this isn't me guessing, is what I'm saying. That's why I said I wish Jay would say stuff, because Big's not here now. Irv isn't here. Who else could do it? Who else could really like put the official stamp on it and be like, this is why. And again, it's nothing to be negative about. It's all positive. It's all positive. It's the game. It's actually what made you. It's what made Big. It's that competitiveness, right? That's what makes them. That's what makes them the greats. As simple as that fire, and that's what it is. Yeah. I'll give you another one. We did a record. Oh man, I'm so bad with titles. It's with Jay-Z, Ja, and X. No. And Mike Geronimo. I think it's Time to Build. I think that's the name of it. Time to Build. I think that's the song. And if I'm not mistaken, X closes out the record. Okay, Jay-Z comes to Irv. Is that them all on the record?
Yeah, Mike Geronimo featuring Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule.
Yes. Okay. If you go to the end of that record, it's DMX closes the record, right? And Jay thought he should close. If you remember in that era, whoever went last was the best, technically. They're the ones that's closing the show. They the best. And Irv's like, nah, I'm giving it to X. And Jay was like, Gotti, you think he better than me? I want to hear that verse now, so you can hear. He's like, yo, Gotti, you think he's better than me? Nah, Jay, it's just the tone of the record. I just want to end on that energy. You don't rap like that. I want that energy to end it. He was like, yeah, okay.
So he threw a subtle. I remember. I think I heard about it. He threw a subtle shot at Jay-Z right at the end.
Listen,
right?
Jay is the master. He's, in my opinion, the best rapper ever. But it's like, come on, he's a master at this shit. He's a master wordsmith, man. He's unreal. He's, and you know, when you think of a rapper, they have to be very intelligent to come up with all of these witty punchlines and things of that nature, and to tie these different everyday life stories into rhyme and put it into a cultural sound. And it's not, it's, you know, there's a lot in it. I admire this guy, man, for what he's done and what he's capable of. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's so many, but that's one song to go to for sure, because that was a big deal. Because Irv let X close.
Okay, so in the middle of all this success, man, you know, you guys are dropping.
This is all the grind.
Records.
These songs you're talking, we're just not even really we're grinding still. Like, you know, my brother would always hit me with the blinkers, like on a horse, like, don't look at nothing else. This is all we doing. Stay focused.
At what point did you guys go, okay, this is taking off for Ja Rule? Like, we got it.
I'll give you another story that people don't know is Ja Rule wasn't signed to Murder Inc. Everyone thinks he was initially. No, we had to pay for him to get free. We signed Ja. We take him from Cash Money Click. Remember, he was on Blunt Records. So he's on Blunt, signed to a deal. We had to get him free from that deal, which we did. And then we get him a deal with Def Jam. We didn't have our label yet. And we was able to negotiate that to get him from one label to the next. So now he's on Def Jam. Then we get our label, and now we have to take him back from Def Jam and put him on Murder Inc., which we had to do, and it cost us money, but we did it and got it done.
And when you do this, I mean, did it put you guys in the hole a little bit?
Yeah, it's money. It's real numbers. We're betting. We're gamblers. We took a big gamble on it. There's no guarantee he's going to come out and do numbers. And, you know, Venoveta Vici was already done, right? So that's a Def Jam. We made them put Murder Inc. on it after we got our deal, but he already finished the album and everything. So when that album came out, it said Murder Inc., but it was really like an imprint. Just, it's Def Jam that controlled it because they had the artist, and we just got our deal. And now we have our label, we're taking Ja back. That's our artist. And Leo and them, they did it, but we had to pay. And we got him back. So we got credit for him on the second album, which is 336. The first album is Def Jam's. If you understand that.
Ja Rule has this song, Can I Get Her?
Yes.
And Jay-Z hears it and loves it.
And says, I want it. He wants it for a soundtrack. I forgot it. So what's the name of the soundtrack?
The Rush Hour?
The Rush Hour, yes. And it's a lot of money. It was a lot of money for the record. They had a big budget, and they was like, Jay. So Jay was like, Gotti, I could get you a lot of money for the record. I'll get on it. But Irv was like, that's our first single. So all he did was go back. He's like, I got to talk to Ja. Went to Ja, and Ja was like, I'll make another one. Simple, with no pressure. And that made everyone happy because then Jay could get the record, we got the money, and it's a great setup for Ja Rule to come out with his album. So right off of the heels of that record, which we knew Def Jam is going to push, the soundtrack is going to push crazy. So we knew we had a big budget of marketing, promoting going into that record. It's a no-brainer. Just now you drop that album, you just need a single. You just need a new first single, and that was Holla Holla.
So you guys knew that was a hit from the gate.
Which one?
Can I Get Her?
We had a big feeling it's going to be very successful with Jay on it. The hook was already there, different type of track, you know, that beat. And with the money we knew getting put behind it, we knew it was going to do well.
And Ja Rule goes on tour.
Yeah.
Hard Knock Life tour.
That's right.
Did you go on tour with him?
Yeah, I made dates. I'm taking care of shit back home, but with business, but I made dates. I went out for different dates. I didn't stay on the tour. That's for artist shit. That's not for me.
Okay, and Ja Rule's album drops, and I mean it's a hit.
Yeah,
Holla Holla goes crazy.
we got an artist. That's when we knew we have a solidified artist on our hands. So everything kind of lined up. You was talking about the money being spent from Rush Hour and Def Jam. Holla Holla going crazy. Tour. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's an ideal lineup set up for him to come out and establish himself as an artist.
And then you guys are going, things are going good. 50 Cent comes along.
Yeah.
So how did you meet 50 Cent? And, you know, from your perspective, how did all that kind of come into play?
You know, at the end of the day, I don't know the guy, you know what I'm saying? I never met him personally, like, until we got into confrontations with shit, but, you know, I'll leave it at that. That story's old as shit for me. I'm tired of telling it. It's 20-something years, and I have no losses in the street with G Unit or 50 Cent. And I wish everybody the best. How about that?
Okay.
End of the day, it is what it is. For me personally, it wasn't like I knew. I've been in real beef in my life. You can't be in real beef with someone you don't know. So I say this all the time. If anyone says, "Oh yes, you can," oh no, you can't. There's no vibe in my body because there was nothing I did or he did to me directly. Everything he did was really to Ja Rule, or to maybe, let's say, I won't even say Irv, but let's say Irv. It was really to Ja though. Ja's my brother, so I inherited a beef because of that. Anyone that understands real beef, they understand that that's not the easiest to accept and say that's it for life. In the moment, it was done. In the moment, it was done. 20-something years later, what am I still talking for?
Okay. Now, you know, also during that time, you guys had legal issues.
Yeah, that's really the problem. See, that's the part people don't realize. How you could be in a beef with somebody and you got the government on your ass. What can you really get to? I did as much as I could. Without, you know, I'm being followed everywhere I went. The cops was following me. The feds was on me everywhere I went. Any club, they was there in the front of the door. How did they know? They had my phone tapped. They knew everything I was doing before I even got there. To sit there. I used to tell the agents, come and get a drink with me. And I don't drink. I was like, come on in, get a drink. And then when I leave, I say, you mad because why? You picked the wrong job? Because I'm up your year's salary in one night? Like, what are you pissed off at me for? Like, I did something. Like, I offered you to come in. You could have came and seen it firsthand. We just having a good time. That's it. Let my see what life is other than the hood. That's the reality of Chris. When you talk about me, that's what I did. I still do. I showed that the have-nots that I with, it's possible. And it's possible from a legal standpoint. How about that? They never thought they could be running up money like that, and it's legal money. You know, traveling, and it's legal. No one to look over your shoulder. I never thought nothing like that. And I'm showing them it's doable. I'm like you. We are one. I just chose to think from a different side of my brain.
How did all this come about with you guys getting indicted and everything?
You know, if you ask me that question, I'm like, I know what they was thinking. I know what they thought perception-wise, but the government knows everything, right? What doesn't the government know? They know you shooting right now in here, yes or no?
Probably, if they wanted to know.
Sure. If they want to know, they know everything. There's nothing we could do. The laws prevent us from blocking anything, and they have so much intelligence it's beyond the knowledge of a regular citizen, right? It's just a fact. So they know exactly what we up to. They know I never sold drugs. They know that. I never sold drugs in my life. Now I'm going to be making millions and millions of dollars, and all of a sudden turn to this drug dealer who's no longer the drug dealer he was in the 80s when I didn't know him. Now he's in the 90s and now I'm with him doing some shit. It makes no sense. But what they wanted us to tell a story on this dude. They wanted us to tell the story. They felt if they throw 20 years on me and my brother and we're making all this money legitly, we're gonna cooperate with them to get him locked up. And we didn't do it. And they couldn't believe it. But their case was weak as because there was nothing to talk about. We made our money the right way. Simple and plain. I never sat there and told anyone I was hustling. And never. I did other things. I might have tied it up or something, but I ain't never go on the block selling. I never bought no work from Poppy. Never. I might have robbed Poppy, but I never did no shit like that. So at the end of the day, there's nothing to talk about. There's no one they could get. But they know that from before. They know I got a family of 8. They know none of them did nothing wrong. None of them. My sisters is all went to school. Me and Irv was the only one that didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? I barely got out of high school. Irv the same way. All of them went to college and everything, but we made all the money. That's how God worked. There's nothing I could do, but they know that. That's not a secret. It's not hidden. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, when you say, how did it happen? They made a choice. They thought they could get us. And then I really believe it was more than, it's bigger than Murder Inc. in the sense of they wanted to find out about hip hop labels. We're making this money. These black guys are making this money and they're probably doing illegal stuff. Let's investigate the biggest one. And they picked Murder Inc. But the reality is they picked the guys that they thought was going to tell. That's how I look at it. Because all the other rap labels have a history. You know, Jay tell you, Jay shot his brother. He was talking about selling his drugs. He ain't hiding it. Why didn't they go there? You know what I'm saying? You know, everyone had a back history in that kind of world except us, because they felt we would be the easiest to convert, I believe. That's in hindsight, looking back, because it makes no sense. I believe they thought they could just make us roll over easy because we're making so much money. Just tell a story and we're gonna. They made 3 offers for us to do that before we went to trial. The last offer was no jail time. How about that? No jail time. In the federal system, no jail time. Just tell on this here and we're gonna let you free. And we said no for 20 years. Come on, who's doing that? Who's doing that? And my lawyer, Shargel, God bless, another one, not here, but shout out Shargel. When they told us that was the offer, and I was like, just set the date. He told them, give me a minute, let me talk to my client. And so we go out the room and he says, Chris, do you realize in the Southern District, I can't get 12 people to say you're not guilty, even if you're not guilty. I cannot guarantee that. They're offering you something that I've never seen in my 27 years in the Southern District, he said, which is no jail time, no parole, just parole, just tell. I said, Shargel, you asking me to tell something? What is it to tell? I'm not gonna make up a story on someone I have nothing to tell. I wasn't in the 80s with him. I'm from Hollis, Queens. Hollis, Queens, that means if you was from Southside, which is he's the king of Southside, you didn't with him. So I know of him, of course. He's supreme. You heard his name was ringing bells. You know what I'm saying? But he's on the other side of town. I didn't with him on that side. So when I told him that, the last words I said to him was, if God has me go and get locked up and have to fight from inside to get back out, then that's what God wants me to do, then I'm going to do it. He started crying. He said, I'm going to fight for you and do the best I can. And we went out there and said, set a date. That's how the court trial started. That was the day they had to give us a date now. But they gave us an offer before that for 1 year each. And the first offer, this is their first offer, 1 year apiece. You go 1 year, then he could go 1 year. Meaning Irv go, then I go. This way the business never stops. We always could be one of us at home. Second offer was 6 months, same scenario. You go, then he goes. 6. As any federal attorney, they're breaking every federal guideline for giving us an offer for what we was facing. Why are they breaking the guidelines? Because they didn't have nothing. They know that. They know that. You know, I didn't bring up a one witness. You know, it was a forensic accountant that we had to use that they appointed. That told them there's no funny business with the books, everything is good. And I rest my case. We killed every one of their witnesses. It was people that don't even know me, you understand, talking about they know me. I'm like, how do you know Chris? Couldn't answer it. Have you ever met them in person? No, they can't answer it. They lying, they was just lying, they trying to get deals for themselves. They was scouring through all of the jails trying to get people to tell, you know, at the time on this. This is how they work. That's why they 98% conviction. That's why they don't lose. Look at Diddy. Did you hear something that he should be locked up for?
Man, Diddy should not be in jail for just prostitution, bro.
He should, if worst case, he should be in for is domestic abuse, and that's not it should not be a federal trial. It should not be in jail for the time he's in already for domestic abuse. He should be home already. Shit, with his money, he could have bought freedom for domestic abuse. Pay for a clinic or something to help any domestic abuse victim. And I don't condone domestic abuse. Anything with women, you got to protect the women and children. I'll protect women and children. So I don't condone that shit, but he's being treated so unfairly. It's crazy. And he's a billionaire. How is that possible? What chance do me and you have?
It's nuts.
Yes, nuts.
I mean, yeah, man. I really don't. You know, the things that Diddy done, man, it's really...
You know, when they started that case, I thought I was going to hear all types of crazy shit.
Me too.
I was waiting. And usually the prosecutor in the very beginning will hit you with the smoking gun. The biggest shit they start hitting you with. I ain't hear nothing. And all I heard was Cassie talking about she's, you know, that's what she want to freak off. She's with it. That sounds like consent to me. God damn. Right out of her mouth. And I heard she paying the dudes. Right out of her mouth. She was the one paying. So what is he in for?
Right.
Nah, it's first time in, I think, American history that they locked up someone for male prostitution or male sex trafficking. First time ever, huh?
Crazy, man. Okay, so, you know, when I was young and I was listening to these records,
yeah,
there was always this thing that Jay-Z was taking shots at Ja Rule, especially on The Watcher 2, when he says all these rap singers claiming they bangers, doing all sorts of twisted shit with their fingers. What was going on during that time?
Is that what he's talking about?
That's what it sounded like to us.
Listen, man, it could be. It could be, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, X and Ja had their thing. Jay and Ja had their thing. So I'm going to say you're probably spot on. It's all good. It's all good. There's shots fired. Shots was fired back with certain things, you know. All subliminal, because that's how, what I said, families fight. You know, in the reality, I'm going to keep it all the way 100 too. None of them expected Ja to sell records. So when he's outselling them, that's a body blow that their ego's not expecting. You know? And then, you know, Jay was he's a wordsmith. You know, only dudes selling records is M, Pimp, Juice, and us.
Okay.
You know he's leaving out Murder Inc. for a reason.
Right.
But there's multiple reasons inside of that as well. And, you know, a ton of subliminals that he would throw out. We heard every one of them. If it's, again, families fight, it's all good. Like me personally, for me, it's like, that's cold. Like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? It's that blood sport that I'm talking about. It wasn't like Jay. Never that. It was never that. Never X. It was never that. You know, it's funny. I was just talking about, that Herb produced the record with the Locks and X. And they're shitting all over Ja in the record. Used to be my dog. He was in my left titty.
Right, okay.
That Herb produced that record.
Okay.
Imagine that. Imagine that. That's why I say if you don't understand the dynamic in the relationship of the family, you'll never understand it. That's DNY is family. You know what I'm saying? It's blood sport.
Well, I think I seen you say that he started throwing shots at you guys because you guys almost signed Nas.
Again, timeline-wise, I don't know when those records was, but yes, for sure.
That was
right? I don't
definitely
know
part
if
of
that
it.
record is what I'm saying is in that time frame. It might have been before. Those records might have been before that. So then the Nas was more about Irv, not Ja.
Okay.
You know, he started talking about things again about that Irv would know, I would know, Murder Inc. We would know, but it's to Irv, not to the world wouldn't know everything unless they know that part.
Right, because I was told it was like, like if say if Irv and Jay-Z were hanging out and something happened when they were hanging out that they would know about. It would come up in a song and then only, you know what I'm saying? Like only the people who were there would know.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Again, it's crazy because it's for me, it's fun days, man. It's like that's the game we use. This is the profession we chose. This is what comes along with it.
Now, I also seen that some of this had to do with maybe Jay-Z backing out of a concert at the last second.
What do you mean?
I guess there
Not
was.
a concert. Maybe you're
I mean
talking
a
about
tour. A tour.
Well, it's the album. It's more about the Murder Inc. album. I think you're referring to when he back. That's the only thing I could think of him backing out is, and it wasn't Jay. It was Dame. But I'm pretty sure Dame got the word from Jay. But we was all supposed to do an album. That was Irv's vision to do Murder Inc. album with Jay-Z, Ja, and DMX. That's why we did those songs. That's the Murdergram and all that. That was the prelude to that album. It's supposed to be. And we went to Rough Riders because now we're all up. We're all successful. X is kicking ass. He's the one selling fives at the moment. You know what I'm saying? And we got DMY to say no problem because Irv was like, we'll do this album, we'll do a third, a third, a third. So Murder Inc. get a third, Rockefeller, Rough Riders, they all get a third. And we'll put it all together so it's joint. We'll share everything, a third, a third, a third, every dollar. All costs, everything, a third, a third, a third. And Jay said yes. X said, Gotti for you, no problem. Go to DMY, make sure the labels are cool. They said family. Dame gave us some pushback and then said yes. And then in the 12th hour, they pulled out. So for whatever their reasons was, I don't know. But
it was that close, man. That would have been
Irv, we had
classic.
Irv was planning on going to either Trinidad or Jamaica to make the album. And he was going to use Swiss Beats. He was going to use Just Blaze and him to make the whole album. We was going to go down there with like 40 tracks, 50 tracks, and just go make records and come back. Stay there for like a month and just have a good time out there, vibe, energy. One of the things we did, Murder Inc. especially, when we made albums, we vibed out like with wherever we was at to make the album. So when you hear those records, just know those records come from real places.
Man, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, that's what Irv was always like. That would have been me. He wanted that bad.
One thing that I really didn't expect, back in the day was I seen you guys link up with Death Row and Suge Knight. I was like, that kind of, to me, kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was, Suge gave us, Ja did a record, So Much Pain, which is a Pac remix, which is Pac's record, So Much Pain. It's like an ode to Pac. He did that for that. That's early, and first thing Suge did was he came and cleared everything, gave us everything, and then, the rest was all love from there.
And then I seen at some point you had like, a minor issue with Suge?
No issue, a question. Again, with Suge, again, Kevin Liles had called me, told me he's looking for Irv. I'm like, for what? He said Suge is saying that Ja Rule's his artist. Come to find out, it was, Suge denied everything. And we got probably even closer and tighter after that day.
Can you take me through what happened?
Yeah, when you deal with guys, you got to take things very seriously when something like this. He's all the way on the East Coast. Kevin's obviously not lying. right? Kevin Liles is not gonna call me, and he sounded scared, and he was calling me like, "Yo, he's in my office. What's going on? What happened in L.A.?" I'm like, "Nothing happened in L.A." Sure, we was at Enterprise. He came there, but he was like, "Sugar saying Josh his artist." We're like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't understand it, so I called Irv afterwards. Irv's like, "Nah, that would never happen. Sugar's my man." Da 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 da. That was it. And then I went to go see him and make sure that that's exactly what it was, which it was. And like I said, to me, that probably got us closer. You know what I'm saying? That made us tighter after that day.
Okay. This was something that I recently just found out when I was doing the research, man, is that during the beef, you guys jumped Proof? Is there any truth to that?
It is proof. But what does that got to do with anything, man? I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, we did that. I touched all of them except Banks and Eminem. I got everyone but them too. But what is that good for? What are we talking for? Like, proof is not even here. I don't like talking about the dead. And it's only a moment. It's like a moment in time in my life for what it was. You know what I'm saying?
I seen at one point you ended up getting shot in 2003.
Yeah, coming out, it was a random shooting. It was only high school kids. Everyone was trying to, they just, where our office was, 825, there's a gym right across the street, Bally's. Me and my boy Nichols was walking to go to the gym. Got my gym bag, he got his gym bag, and we walking from our office, right? It's like the buildings are like this. The streets run this way, the buildings, so we're in the middle. And all I did was walk, but the high school just let out, and there was kids fighting and shit, and they rang out some shots. I didn't even know I got shot, actually. When I got hit, it was in my leg. And again, everyone was saying, oh, he shot himself. The bullet went in from this angle. In here, it was stuck on the outside of my thigh. But the trajectory is this way. That means I would have had to take the gun and do that. Like, come on, like, please. So let's not talk stupid. But at the end of the day, the kids was there. They was out fighting, and then a couple shots rang out, and we just run into the Bally's. He was like, "You all right?" I said, "I don't know. I feel like something." You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even know I was hit, and then I looked, and sure enough, I was hit. But I wouldn't give the police the bullet. They wanted the bullet, and I wouldn't give it to them. So whoever was shooting that day, I held it down for them, not knowing who the f- was. But it was a random shooting. It wasn't like.
What did you think about when Eminem, in the song, he was like, Irv's brother isn't the only one who shot himself in the foot?
Yeah, that's what they said. I know Buster said some shit like that, but again, it's what can you do when you don't know shit? If you want to talk your shit, let's talk about when you ran in the tour bus and locked it so he couldn't whip your ass. Talk about that.
Who was that, Eminem?
Yeah. End of the day, it is
what happened with that?
Nothing happened. He called the police, came, and we had to leave.
Well, where'd you guys catch him at?
Nothing happened. I don't know, man. Allegedly. All of this shit means nothing, but it's a rap. How many raps is 100? Okay. I'll leave it at that. But this is the fans. People are fans. He got millions and millions of fans. How could you say anything? That's like a setup question to me.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's a fan. His projection. Was he there? How does he know?
Well, it's your story.
Huh?
It's your story.
I'm just saying, how does he know that he's saying I did it, and I'm saying I didn't do it. But I said, I got a hole here and a hole here. I don't need to make that up. You see it and you see it. Okay, that means I did this. And I said, but logic. This is for someone that is just trying to put two and two together. That's logic, bro. It's logic. You know what I'm saying? And Nichols was right there. We're in 825 walking to Bally's to the gym. But that's when I decided to shoot myself. Make it make sense. I don't know. But hey, I don't give a f. If that's what you believe, good luck, God bless. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. He said it, it rhymed. Same with Buster, it rhymes. It's all good.
How did Busta Rhymes get into the beef? I never understood that.
because Buster stays with what's going on. He's just, you know, in his career, he jumps from one to one, whatever was hot. He jumped on 50, and that's it. Before that, he was with Murder Inc. He's on the Holla Holla remix.
Okay.
So you think, put it together. That's why I never understood things. I didn't understand most of these artists and how they just jump from one side to the next. And it's not about that, because I never asked anybody to be on my side. Like, help me out of here. But if we're friends, friends are friends, right? I would tell that was with me from when I was this big, that was with him. And I said, go get your money, it's all good. Just don't act funny with me. I know where your mama lives, remember that. That's all. Don't act funny. You could go get your money and it's all good, it's cool. I would tell all of them that shit. They all from my hood. I raised these. So at the end of the day, we all together. Go ahead, it's all good, get your money. See, that's the misunderstanding of people when they talk about the beef, because they don't realize that. You know, he wasn't with dudes from Southside like that. He had all them dudes from over in Shadyville. That's right off the block from where we at. That's Hollis. You know what I'm saying? But no one knows that from anywhere else but home. You know, and it's like, you know, I'm not a storyteller. It's just, it's sad because, you know, how do you dispel it? That's why I say it's like a set of questions, because homies' their voices are so big, meaning they have millions and millions. I'm not a rapper, yo. I'm not a rapper. I'm with it, and that's it. End of the day, anything I did was for my job, my brother's job.
Is there any truth to Jaw and Busta getting in a fight at the BET Awards?
Physical? I don't believe so. Maybe some words, maybe not no physical fight.
Is there anybody you signed or that you passed up on signing that you wish you would have signed?
You know, there's a bunch of artists that came through. I was just in Abu Dhabi, and I'm watching this channel, and it's all Latin artists. And one of the Latin artists that I wish we would have signed, just to be, you know, I look at Murder Inc., we're versatile. We're very versatile. Earth could produce anything. But at this time and date, we was supposed to sign Daddy Yankee. And he just dropped a bunch of new videos. Keep going, bro. I see your work. Don't stop. He dropped a bunch of hot songs and videos. And I'm just sitting there thinking about, imagine if Murder Inc. had Daddy Yankee. You know, that's just one, you know, from, you know, we could go to, man, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, we had Sean Paul. Then, you know, we had Rick Ross.
Rick Ross came through you guys.
We could have definitely had Rick
guys.
Ross. Universal didn't let us sign him. They wouldn't, because we was dealing with our case. See, Universal, because they're cooperating first and foremost, which we didn't know at the time with the government. So it was very hard to do business with them and put music out and get it supported, because they wasn't on our side at that time. Well, we didn't know that. You know, hindsight's 20/20. Today, I know that for sure. But back then, we thinking everything's good. You know, ignorance is bliss. So we thinking everything's fine until we find out it's not.
Man. On some current stuff, you know, recently we just seen Nas get approved for a casino.
Dope. Congratulations, Esco. That's fire.
Yeah, man. And unfortunately, at the same time, Jay-Z got turned down for a casino.
I think it's a little different, but, you know, everyone wants to make the Nas and Jay comparison. I don't believe the casino Nas was approved is already in Queens. It's already up and existing. So it's not the same type of approval that we're talking about. And financially, I believe Jay's not trying to be a minority equity owner, but a majority equity owner. Where Nas can't get a majority equity owner, the casino already exists. It's the Resorts Casino. It's already, there's a Resorts out here in Vegas, right?
Yep.
This is not a new property in that sense. Like, it already, it's the old Aqueduct Casino, racetrack, and it's a casino there, and they're just adding on to it. And he got, again, great job, but don't get me to be like I'm knocking something. out of here. Don't do that. That's an incredible job, but it's comparing an apple to an orange. Two different types of acquisitions. That's all. And yes, Jay got denied, but his is a lot harder. There's no building in Manhattan that has a casino already. Nas's casino is already existing in Queens. It's the old Aqueduct racetrack.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I know most people don't because the way they portray it on social media, but 99% of the shit you see on social media is fake. I'll make a prediction right now here, Cam. Social media is going to end in 5 years.
Social media is going to end?
End in 5 years.
What do you mean, like in a literal form or just not be that popular?
It's going to have to stop because no one's going to know what's real or not. AI is going to contaminate it completely, and there's no way to know real or not, and it will have to stop because there'll be too many frivolous lawsuits. It would have to be blocked or regulated. Something it's going to get changed. It's just what it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, AI is a major
I can make
problem.
a video about you and make you sound like you, look like you, everything, and it's only going to get better. So when I say 5 years, it's going to be really high tech and really like realistic, even though some is already realistic now. And it's exact sound, it sounds like the person, looks like the person. It's only going to get even better. So how could you stop it? Now I could recreate. It's going to be, music. When we first think of the Napster days, I'll never forget. We had a meeting with Doug Morris, and we went in his office. And Doug Morris, who's the chairman of Universal at the time, so he's the boss of all the bosses. Everyone has to report to Doug, and he's pissed off when we walk in his office for our meeting. We're like, "What's wrong?" He said he just finished getting off with basically the feds. And he's like, they're not going to do nothing to protect us. Talking about infringements. This is when they was just now pirating all our music. Just the simple part of just copying the music. He says, the feds told him, every time we shut down one, 10 more pop up. Places to get your music. Well, that's the same thing AI is going to do. So then once that happens, because we're talking about people, not just music, it's going to get very ugly from a legal standpoint. And they'll have to either block it or cut it down. You only get cat videos. You're going to everything's going to be cat videos. So make some nice, funny cat videos or cute cat videos. But in my opinion, that's what is going to happen. Because when you see this, so all you influencers out there, get it while you can, because it will change. And believe me, they don't like you making that money. They don't like that shit. The powers that be does not like that there's a federal agent that did all this work, school, whatever you talking about, and he's making a fraction of what you make. Oh, better believe they got their lawyers too. They're pissed. I talk with them. They don't like this shit. They don't like it, man. So it's going to be laws that's going to change it. You watch and see. I say 5 years, 10 years the longest, but 5 for sure. It'll be in my lifetime. That's for damn sure.
I mean, they're saying that at some point, you're not even going to really need the people to make the movies.
We don't. I have a program right now. And I could pay less than $500 a month, and I can make a complete AI movie. Put the script in, upload the characters, the voices, everything. Where I believe movies is going to head is going to be like NIL for basketball, for high school and college players. You're going to get name, image, and likeness deals as an actor. So let's say a Denzel. I don't want to use Denzel, but let's say Denzel for now. He's definitely not going to do it. But these other actors will, because it's going to be, I can now do 50 movies and get paid for 50 movies. And it's going to be, you license your name, your image, and your likeness to this company. Here's the script. You read it. You like it. And I don't need you to come out. Now think of the liability, the insurance part of the movie business, which is huge. It's gone. There's no more liability because it's all AI. I have no actors. I'm doing it right in my computer. Everything. Using real locations. Everything's going to look beautiful. And again, I could crank those out all day, every day. So I could take and tell Denzel, let's do a 50 picture deal. And just, if he likes the scripts, he approves it. So I wouldn't personally exclude them. I would include them and say, If you like the script, I'm gonna create this. And I wouldn't do no risky scenes unless they're willing to do risky scenes like nudity and shit like that, unless they're cool with it.
And then on top of that, you could get a young Denzel.
I could make them the old Denzel, the young Denzel. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And it's one take and we're done. I just tell all the actors. I came from Amsterdam and they was talking about this at the Satemius Awards, and I kept telling them, they get prepared, it's coming. Kevin Spacey was there, and like, a bunch of other actors and actresses like Megan Gooden and Jonathan Major, and crazy Stedman Graham. They was all there, and we was talking about this the whole time we was out there, because they're actors and they're worried about what's going to happen with AI. And I'm like, technology's here for one reason, is to improve your life. Don't look down at it because you can't stop it. You'll get left behind. Nothing they could do to stop AI is coming. It's here, it's moving, and it's only going to progress. You have to learn to adapt technology and use it in your benefit. Same is going on with music. I just left DeMiz's event out here. That's what I came out here for. And they was talking about AI. Shout out to Miza, incredible event and great people.
Shout out to Miza. I interviewed him not so long ago.
Yeah, great people and everything. And at the end of the day, man, AI is with music. You have to figure out how to use it in your advantage. It's gonna be part of the labels are already cutting deals with AI companies. The difference between movies is they have union. Music, we have no unions. So the unions in the movies is blocking it as best they can. But what unblocks shit is money. And the amount of money that's going to be saved from the parent companies, the Paramount Pictures, the Sony Pictures, the money they're going to save, the liabilities is going to be gone. It's going to be too hard to say we can't use it. And they'll break them down. And those unions are going to be, because they're going to lose jobs. It's like, there's an expression, everything comes to an end, right? It could be the beginning of a whole new thing, but it may be the end of the old way. And you have to be open-minded enough to understand that and elevate and evolve to the new. Because you can't stop it. You could prolong it. They're prolonging it right now, but you can't stop it. It's coming. So adapt and be ahead of the curve. And I really believe, the AI OnlyFans models is killing.
AI OnlyFans model.
Yeah, because, I said something to somebody before. I said, going to be marrying robots soon. And they was, no, they're not. I said, on rubber dolls already. What do you mean they're not going to a robot if it's real and looks real? They're going to do it. It's going to be, you're going to have an AI wife. Cook, clean, shut up, do everything you want, no problems. Like, it's going to happen. Jeez. The shit's going to happen, yo. I see it. And then, a woman's going to have an AI man husband. It ain't going to be just one-sided. Shit, she already got all types of toys and shit inside her. Like, what's the difference? That's all I'm saying. What's the difference? It might be an upgrade for you. He's gonna do everything you like and cook and clean and do that too. Rub your feet, all of that shit.
Jeez. Okay, so you got movies going on.
Yes. Started a company called Arc Films with two of my partners, Dwight Rich Black Walker and Andy Entrada. So Arc Films is Andy, Rich, and Chris. And Andy, again, me and him, we have other businesses together aside from the movie business. And man, we started off with our first movie called Ballin'. It's with Lance Stevenson, Safari, Rebecca Beaumont, Eva Beaumont, the director of it, first time director. I give opportunities. He did an incredible job. I got Trey Chaney in it from The Wire. And we just went out and made a great film. Rich wrote it. Rich, my partner Rich, he wrote it and wrote a script and film, and we went out and filmed it. Was doing really well. It's on Tubi. Go watch it. I mean, it's doing really well right now. And we're just out promoting. I'm doing watch parties all over the country to come out, enjoy the film, and then talk to me about filmmaking, what you thought about the film. Talk about if you're a filmmaker, if I can help you get into the business. You know, I'm looking for distribution. I have my other partner. We just did another film just now called Spanish Fly. It's like a Cheech and Chong type movie, comedy, funny as shit, Latin. And we had a great time making that. And then I got right now the raffle coming. I mean, I'm fully engulfed in the movie side right now, and I have probably about 7 to 8 films for 2026 that'll be out by 2026. So, I mean, really moving. We have Night Shift. We have Cuzzo 2. I mean, there's a bunch of movies already done, ready to go. Like just marketing, getting the marketing campaigns ready and how we want to roll it out and finishing the trailers and stuff like that. But they're shot already. So they'll definitely be out for 2026.
That's what's up. Okay. You got a basketball league.
Yeah, man. Created a basketball league last year. It's called Clash Pro League. What I did was I'm 4 decades inside of street ball. So from Rucker Park, Dykeman Park, all these other parks across New York, that we have all these street basketball tournaments that are iconic. And I said, I looked at the players, and then most of these are collegiate players, D1, didn't get a chance to play overseas or didn't get to the NBA, whatever it may be. And so I formed a league. To my surprise, when I put that, you have to, in order to get in the league, you had to go through the combine and get on my draft board. So you had to fill out a questionnaire and sign up and show that you're really from a basketball background, not just someone that says, oh, I just killed the YMCA, I'm nice. You know what I'm saying? So we did that, and I had over 500 players signed up to come to my combine, which was amazing. Only 80 jobs, 8 teams, 10 on each team. And we did an 8-round draft, and then the last 2, the coaches picked the last 2, whatever they wanted. So we did that. The league was incredible. Short season, I love it because that keeps every game value high. 8 games, it's 8 teams, 7 games. So you play each team once. That's it. So every game is impactful. So the whole season is intense. Like, you understand? Then it gets to playoffs. 4 teams make the playoffs, and then championship the following week, and we're out. So it took about 2.5 months to do everything, almost 3 months with the combine. We did a combine, we did a draft one day, then we did a media day, and then scrimmaging the next day. In one day, and then that's start the season. So it's a real condensed season. But that's great because it keeps all of the games very high impact for everyone. No days off, you got to come to play. And the intensity was incredible. The players was incredible. And we do, I shorten the game. I don't do a regular game at 12 minutes and then stopping the ball every time it goes out of bounds. I do a running clock at 10 minutes, which makes the game more, again, get to it or you're going to get out, you get beat. And you get beat, you're out, you won't make the playoffs. And then we put a prize pool up, for the winning team. Everyone got paid. All players get paid. All coaches got paid. All staff got paid. So it's a full league. I designed it just like, let's say, the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. It's comparable per game, salary-wise, per game versus what they get over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking to do season 2 right now. We're starting in March. So, and if I'm using influencers to be owners this year. So if you're a basketball influencer, get at me at Chris Gotti 187 if you want to be one of the team owners, and I'll tell you all of the things you got to do to be qualified for that.
Now, one thing that I seen that I know you've been working on a while that I seen you talk about years and years ago, man, is Adventures Music.
Yes. 10 years now, man. We just passed our 10-year anniversary. I got thousands of artists on the platform. Shout out Dex Diamond. Man, that's my right hand. Been with me forever. And me and Dex, we go out And it's really about education. We teach artists to how to own, operate, and monetize their music. You know, one of the most things I'm most proud of is our retention. We keep 86% of all of our clients. They stay. They don't go nowhere. And most of our clients came from other platforms. So they went there and they like ours better. But that's because we're hands-on. We can actually talk to you, help you with a real person telling you what the best opportunities might be for you, how to roll your music out. And that's really all it is. It's you know, you come on, sign up, adventuresmusic.com, go become a member, and you got partners. And all we do is I want to teach you how to own, operate, and monetize your business. That's the game. You know, to me, independence is where it's at today. Unless a record labels, if they was to give you an offer, if it makes sense, I'm not telling you not to take it. It's just know the pros and cons of that deal.
Well, that's what it is, man. Well,
Yeah.
Chris Gotti, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Cam, thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, good luck with everything you got going on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm going to keep pushing.
That's what it is. What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.